Right then, let's do AM Biz. The Ethiopian Airline crash, which claimed 157 lives on Sunday, has triggered several questions worldwide, including air travel safety and precautionary measures to avert accidents. Now, in the business world, the question remains whether or not both Ethiopian Airlines and U.S. airplane maker Boeing will survive this fate. The following reports has more details.
Boeing is a multinational company that designs, manufactures and sells airplanes, rockets, satellites and missiles worldwide. It is the largest exporter in the United States with a revenue base of over $101 billion and the fifth largest contractor in the world based on 2017 revenue. The 737 MAX 8 aircraft is relatively new to the skies, having only been in commercial use since 2017. It has a length of 39.52 meters and a wingspan of 35.9 meters. The same model was operated by Lion Air that crashed off the coast of Indonesia in October 2018. Although investigations into the cause of the accident is yet to be known, there are some similarities with Ethiopia Air's recent crash. This has raised some questions about the safety of the new 737 MAX 8. Captain Michael Foley is a retired pilot and explains the cause of the Lion Air accident.
New generation 737, the MAX, is something that took all pilots by surprise. Because first of all, the technology already exists, and somebody somewhere thought that they would like to make flying easier and install this. Unfortunately, when they install this, because it's a new thing, they've not had time to teach maintenance and the pilots what to do if these computers go rogue. That is, a computer, what happened in Lion Air's case was that the computer was reading a wrong message, making the aircraft think that it was going to stall. So the computer kicked in and was trying to correct the stall by putting the nose down. And the pilots were surprised because they knew the aircraft wasn't stalling and they did not know what was happening. So naturally from their training, they were just trying to pull the aircraft back. But the more they pulled back, the more the computer was pushing it down. You see, so that was what happened. And Boeing should have accepted that this was their fault. But Boeing is a powerful company. It also has its reputation to protect because there is competition. There are two major aircraft manufacturers, Boeing and Airbus, and they are both competing for the market, you see. So Boeing did not acknowledge this, and poor Lion Air was blamed for it. They blamed their maintenance culture.
Following the crash, a growing number of airlines have grounded their Boeing MAX 8 fleet, with the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority following suit on Tuesday. Here's a list of airlines and civil aviation organizations currently restricting the use of the Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Meanwhile, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, the aviation sector regulator, has assured the public of the safety of Ghana's airspace despite having some airlines operating the Boeing 737 MAX 8. Director General for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Simon Alote, says despite having the aircraft operating the country's airspace, the regulator is keenly monitoring the situation to ensure higher safety standards are maintained.
Yes, we have a few operators using the 737 MAX 8 to Ghana, and as I speak today, a number of them operated with the 737 MAX 8 to Ghana yesterday, and the aircraft are safe to fly. The aircraft was manufactured by Boeing Aircraft of the US. They went through a vigorous airworthiness checks, and they issued the original type certificate, which has been validated by several countries all over the world. And these operators who came into the country, their civil aviation authorities have done their checks, and they are confident that these aircraft can still fly.
Director for Safety Regulations, Daniel Akwa, takes us through some of the current safety procedures.
One of them is the SAFA, which is well known worldwide. That is safety assessment of foreign aircraft. But in the West African region, West African English-speaking countries, we call it a FASAP. That is Foreign Aircraft Safety Assessment Program. And this is only carried out with foreign airlines that we do not have total jurisdiction, because the total jurisdiction or total surveillance is done by their respective civil aviation authorities where the aircraft have been registered. So we carry out RAM checks, we inspect the pilot's licenses and the cabin crew to know whether they are properly trained, and then they are current as well as they are medical. And also we check on the airworthiness certificates of the aircraft, as well as we do a walk around the aircraft. We check on their technical logbooks to make sure that, to ensure that issues or snags that have previously been reported are properly resolved and then also logged in the logbook. So if such problems have occurred before on such an aircraft, we will quickly know, and then we either ground the aircraft, or if it is not a safety issue but of a little concern, we get in touch with the respective civil aviation authority of that operator. The other measure that we have in place is we have some kind of correspondence or collaboration with the various civil aviation authorities of the airlines that operate into our country. So we can always find out the measures that they themselves have put in place. And also we are in touch with the manufacturer, aircraft manufacturer, that is Boeing. Also we are monitoring all that is happening all over the world with various airlines that are using this type of aircraft.
Boeing shares fell more than 7% on Monday following the second deadly crash involving the 737 MAX 8 passenger jet. Boeing was supposed to hold a ceremonial debut of its 77 MAX wide-body aircraft this week. That has been postponed. One question that remains is how the aircraft manufacturing company will weather the storm.
Countries are woken up and they are saying, no, we are not going to allow this. So now Boeing must repair their reputation. What will be the effect on Boeing? They will survive. They will survive. New aircraft, unfortunately, and as callous as it might sound, new aircraft from time to time have dramatic accidents. And then the manufacturers go back and correct. It's a new technology sometimes leads operations. So Boeing will survive. They might have to recall all those aircraft, ground them, or just instruct maintenance to put in certain corrective measures, and then they'll come back strong or stronger again.
And what about Ethiopian Airlines?
There'll be some reputational damage to Ethiopian Airways, which they will try very quickly to correct. Because if this accident was caused by a failure of or caused by a fault on the aircraft, then it's not their fault at all. But that will not be much comfort for a traveler. You see? So there'll be some reputational damage to Ethiopian Airways, which they will have to try very hard to rebuild. But I think that to be insignificant. I think so. Because seriously, Ethiopian Airways flies other types of aircraft. So as a pilot, I would not like to fly the MAX 8 until they have corrected this fault.
The government of Ghana recently signed an MOU with the Ethiopian Airlines to be a major partner in setting up a home-based carrier. Minister for Aviation Kofi Adda, however, says despite the current developments, the Aviation Ministry will go ahead with the agreement as Ethiopian Airlines has long-standing reputation of being one of the best.
Still intend to continue with our partnership arrangements with them. The negotiation will go on between now and April. We hope that we'll come to some understanding on the shareholders agreement, which will pave the way for us to become operational. We also want to let you know that we've not decided on any particular aircraft for the long haul. We are shopping between Airbus and Boeing. We'll be undertaking some trips to these two establishments very soon. We'll go through the types of aircraft that they are producing and come to some agreement on which ones we should use for our long haul flights. It could be 737, it could be Airbus, it could be any other type of aircraft from Boeing or from Airbus. We cannot say that at this point in time. But the experts are there and they do all the thorough assessment that we need to do, and we'll select the one that will give us the best in terms of business that we're going to operate.
Meanwhile, reports say Boeing is expected to release a software patch to the system to deal with this issue. Karen Dodu's report for Joy Business.
Statistically, flying is still the safest way to travel. That's just a fact. All right, now coming up, did you sleep in darkness? Were you doomsawed last night? We'll talk all about it. Get ready to talk to us about your experience of the power cuts and the fluctuations that have been happening across the capital city overnight and perhaps in the days leading up to yesterday. That's all coming up, and we'll tell you how to get interactive with us. But when we come back, AM Talk also will be talking about the Disband Party Militias Now campaign. Got some great guests, including Sheikh Arimeyao and many others. Stay tuned.